Good morning, everyone. I hope you enjoyed yesterday Greek night. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we begin with the first session of today is session number 7. Its name is Political Sciences and International Affairs, the Future of the EU. The first presenter is Romeo Tenekechi. Okay. He's director of Distance Education Center of Polytechnic University of Tirana, Albania, and he's going to talk us about conversion of the existing monitoring infrastructure for manually ballot counting in Albania to the electronic counting system. You have 30 minutes. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. I'm very happy I'm the first for this session, political sessions, even if I'm not a politician. I'm an engineer, but I'm going to talk something about politics. Do you know Albania? In this presentation, I'm going to talk a little bit about history of elections in Albania, something technical about optical mark recognition, and what I will suggest at the end. Albania has been in communist regime for many years after the Second World War. And in 1991, we entered to the path of democracy, but it was not so easy. During the period shown in the screen, we have numbering of votes processes in the same place where the voting take place. After the voting, all the commissioners of main parties counted the votes, but many claims about the results, of course, it's normal. The parties, small parties that didn't have their representatives in the commissions, of course, were suspicious about the result. I'm going to talk about two very strange events in Albania. One, hunger strike inside the parliament during the time of some changes in Albania. The third party was leaving the commissions in a way. They changed the rules and said 3 members must be in counting table, 2 first parties, and the third must be from the third or must be from the other parties. So the third party was not satisfied, so they entered in strike in the parliament. I'm going to show you a picture. Another one, hunger strike, is in front of Prime Ministry building in Albania. And after these two very sad events, government always is interested to improve this process. And by law, they decided to organize counting of votes in big places. All the boxes come from different regions of Albania, and they count in some different big places. But in the same way, in the counting table, 4 members counting from 4 main parties, and the other has to trust the result. But to monitor this process, government decided to make infrastructure easily to monitor, but very tedious for the others to see what happened with their votes. Later, it was trying to solve this counting process by the technician. So it was a project, pilot project, to count votes just in one region, Fier, it's a small region in Albania, by scanning the papers. But this process failed because some technical problems. And I pretend I have solved this problem, and I'm ready, or with the device I have set up, it is very easy and possible to count votes in very short time, and nobody will claim the result because no humans anymore in counting. So this is a picture taken during the time of strike inside the parliament. One of these gentlemen that is sitting in these chairs here now is Albanian president. This guy here is Albanian president right now. This is a picture taken during the Hungary strike in front of the Prime Minister's building. And this gentleman here now is Prime Minister of the Albania. They have blocked the road for many days, pretending that the result of the voting was not okay, and they called to the Prime Minister of the time, open again the boxes and start recounting. But it was impossible by the law. So after this strike, the government tried to make this pilot for counting votes by scanning. And the well-known company from Spain, Indre, somebody knows it, came in Albania and started preparing counting the votes by scanning. But it was a very big problem, and I felt before they start counting, they will fail. Why? The technique that they use is something like this. The paper goes through the machine. I will show you this kind of machine and read the signs on the paper, but no more than 42 subjects in a paper. Albanian case was a strange one, 72 parties in elections. So it was impossible to read these votes or to count these votes by this kind of techniques. This is an existing monitoring infrastructure, and as you see in big holes, there are some monitors which show the paper which is in this place. You see number 1 here in this on monitor, this number 2 on the monitor, and here is the camera. I use this process, taking pictures of a paper and try to count, to find where is the sign, which party it belongs to. Even if you imagine that this is possible for counting, in fact, this is just for monitoring. Existing infrastructure is just for monitoring. They pass all the papers through this camera and make a video. As I know, they make a video, which you can check after, but imagine to check after So after this process, the commissions, which are 4, as you see in the table, gather the papers according to the parties. But imagine 72 parties, and there is no place to put first papers. And after this process, they start counting. During counting, there is again possibility to make mistakes, let's say. I am representing you some very simple techniques for reading marks on the paper. This is the first machine made by Robert Johnson 90 years ago. He set up this machine for assessment of exams using the conductivity of the pencil graphite. This is nowadays scanner like this is used during the fail process. that I mentioned. I have set up some other techniques. I first make a picture of the votes and control by the software where are the signs. So these are some very special details, technical details that I'm not going to stop because of the time. Some graphical elements for guarantee. I'm sure when I read the paper, I'm sure I'm reading a paper, a voting paper, not just a paper where there are some signs. By doing this process, it is possible to reduce the time of voting and counting, because if there is a process with 3 different subjects of issues, you have to vote 3 times to fulfill 3 papers. And this is the case where all the stations are in the same paper, and by passing to the scanner, I read every sessions. So the process of counting is like this: take the papers from the ballot box, put it on the scanner, and put again in another box. And when the process is finished, the report is generated, printed, and the information can go online. And this is the device I have set up: normal camera here, laptop, and that's all. This is the paper with 72 parties. When I tested this device, I made testing by this real. This is a picture taken by my camera, and you can see now my device in the process working. It is working, and it is working very, very well. So this is just a video. It doesn't matter when you put the paper this way or upside down, the software recognizes and read it immediately. Just a click and that's all. So I'm taking the picture, unfold it, because this is very important. Even if you scan by the fast scanners, these ballots, you have to unfold first and then make them straight and put in the scanner. So during this time, I have finished even the counting. So it's much more faster. It seems manually, but it is much more faster than the faster scanners. For monitoring is very, very nice. If you see next to the subject is a very small icon, and when I click and read the paper, the result is like this. So observers can see what happened with their subject. And now something for, I don't know who is concerned about this. Stop vote counting by human. Implement this simple device and go a little bit closer to the democracy. Thank you.